What if I told you that the hardest puzzle in human history wasn't found in an ancient tomb or a secret government vault, but posted anonymously on a simple image board? In January 2012, a cryptic message appeared online. It had no signature, no explanation, and no mercy. It was signed only by a number, 3301. Within hours, thousands of the world's smartest minds, cryptographers, hackers, and mathematicians, rushed to solve it. They thought it was a game. They were wrong. It was a filter, a test designed to separate the obedient from the curious, the average from the exceptional. And the terrifying part? We still don't know who passed. Welcome to Lumen Mysteries, where we shed light on the unknown. Today, we aren't just solving a puzzle. We are uncovering the most sophisticated recruitment drive the internet has ever seen. By the end of this video, you will understand why some doors, once opened, can never be closed. We will break down the 3 layers of the Cicada enigma, reveal the hidden philosophy behind the code, and ask the question that keeps experts awake at night. What happens when the puzzle is finally complete? To understand the magnitude of what happened in 2012, you have to understand the landscape of the internet at that time. It was a wilder place, less curated, less monitored, and far more anonymous. On January 4th, a user posted a simple image on 4chan. It was black and white, featuring a stark, high-contrast design. But embedded within the pixels of that image was not just art, but data. Steganography, the art of hiding messages in plain sight. When decoded, the image didn't reveal a joke or a meme, it revealed a book. Specifically, a reference to the Book of the Law by Aleister Crowley. But this wasn't about occultism, it was about privacy. The message read, "Hello. We are looking for highly intelligent individuals. To find them, we have devised a test. There is a message hidden in this image. Find it, and it will lead you on the road to finding us. We look forward to meeting the few that will make it all the way through. Good luck." 3301. Most people scrolled past. They saw noise, but a select few saw a signal. Those who decoded the image found a URL. That URL led to another image. That image led to a phone number, and that phone number, when called, played a recorded message that directed users to a physical location. This was not a digital game anymore. This was real. In cities across the globe, London, Paris, Seattle, Warsaw, Sydney, posters appeared on telephone poles. They looked like ordinary flyers, but each contained a QR code and a private key. If you were in the right place at the right time, you could scan the code. If you weren't, you were left in the dark. This was the first lesson of 3301. Proximity matters. Presence matters. The internet is not just a cloud. It is anchored in the physical world. As the days turned into weeks, a community formed. They called themselves the Cicadas. They shared clues on encrypted forums, helping each other decode Caesar ciphers, Vigenère squares, and complex hexadecimal strings. But help came with a cost. The puzzle demanded individual competence. You couldn't just ride the coattails of the group. You had to prove your own worth. The second layer of the puzzle led participants to a hidden site on the Tor network. For those unfamiliar, Tor is the backbone of the dark web, a place designed for anonymity. Here, the questions changed. They were no longer just about code, they were about philosophy. Participants were asked to read works by William Gibson, Julian Assange, and Timothy Leary. They were asked to contemplate the nature of freedom, the ethics of information, and the role of the individual in a surveillance state. 3301 was not just testing their technical skills, they were testing their ideology. Were these recruits hackers for hire, or were they libertarians seeking to dismantle the system? By February, the first cycle ended. Those who reached the final stage received a PGP-signed message. It congratulated them. It told them they had been selected. But it did not tell them what they had been selected for. Instead, it gave them a task. Spread the word. keep the spirit of privacy alive. And then silence. The site went dark. The posters were removed. The clues vanished. Thousands had started. Only a handful had finished. And those handfuls were left with more questions than answers. Who were they? What did they want? Was it the NSA? A rogue hacktivist group? Or something entirely different? For a year, there was nothing. The internet moved on. New memes, new scandals, new distractions. But on January 4th, 2013, exactly 1 year later, the clock struck midnight, and 3301 returned. This time, the puzzle was harder. The stakes were higher. The clues were more obscure. They used Mayan numerals. They referenced ancient Sumerian texts. They hid coordinates in the audio spectrums of music tracks. The community was ready this time. They were organized, they had maps, they had tools. But the entity behind 3301 had evolved too. The second cycle introduced a new element: time pressure. Clues would expire. Servers would go offline without warning. It was a race against the clock, designed to simulate the pressure of real-world intelligence operations. Those who survived the second cycle were again greeted with a message. Again, they were told they were among the elite. Again, they were given no job description, no salary, no location. Just a directive: continue to learn, continue to build, continue to protect privacy. And then, once again, silence. But this time, the silence felt heavier. The ambiguity was no longer exciting. It was unsettling. Had they been recruited? Or had they been played? Some claimed they received emails months later, inviting them to private meetings and remote locations. Others claimed they were watched, their webcams covered, their phones acting strange. Whether these stories were true or mere paranoia fueled by the mystery, the effect was the same: fear, respect, and obsession. Then, in 2014, a third cycle began. But it was different, shorter, sharper. It felt like a cleanup operation. Many believed that 3301 had found what it was looking for. The recruitment was over. The organization was now operational. Since then, there have been sporadic sightings, a tweet here, a poster there, but no full-scale puzzle, no global hunt, just echoes, whispers in the static. This leads us to the most critical question. What was the point? Why go to such lengths? Why spend millions of dollars in server costs, printing posters globally, and engineering complex cryptographic challenges just to recruit a few dozen people? The answer lies in the philosophy embedded in the clues. 3301 repeatedly cited the importance of individual liberty and the dangers of mass surveillance. In a world where every click is tracked, every message scanned, and every movement logged, privacy is the last frontier of freedom. By creating a puzzle that required extreme technical skill, deep philosophical understanding, and physical presence, 3301 filtered out the noisy majority. They didn't want script kiddies. They didn't want attention seekers. They wanted architects. They wanted builders. People who could create systems that couldn't be broken, networks that couldn't be traced, and tools that couldn't be censored. Think about it. If you were building a resistance movement in the digital age, how would you find your soldiers? You wouldn't post a job ad on LinkedIn. You wouldn't hold open interviews. You would create a trap, a filter. You would hide in plain sight, waiting for those with the eyes to see. And once you found them, you wouldn't tell them who you are. You would let them deduce it. Because trust is not given, it is earned. And secrecy is not a rule, it is a survival mechanism. But let's look closer at the symbols. The cicada. Why a cicada? In nature, cicadas spend years underground, dormant, invisible. Then they emerge all at once, in overwhelming numbers, singing a song so loud it drowns everything else. They are a symbol of patience, timing, and collective power. Is 3301 dormant? Or are they waiting for the right moment to emerge? Some theorists believe that the puzzles were never about recruitment at all. They believe 3301 was an art project, a social experiment designed to prove that even in a monitored world, secrets can still exist. That human ingenuity can still outpace algorithmic surveillance. If that is true, then the puzzle itself was the message. The act of solving it was the victory. However, there is evidence to suggest otherwise. Several of the successful solvers have gone on to work in high-level cybersecurity firms. Some have disappeared from public view entirely. One prominent solver, known only by his handle, claimed he was invited to a meeting in Eastern Europe. He never returned to the forums. Did he defect? Was he silenced? Or did he simply choose to leave the digital world behind? We may never know. And that is the power of 3301. It denies us closure. It refuses to fit into a neat narrative. It remains an open loop, a glitch in the matrix that we cannot patch. Now, consider the technology used. The puzzles relied on outdated encryption methods mixed with cutting-edge steganography. This suggests a group that respects history but masters the future. They understood that old codes are often overlooked by modern automated scanners. They hid in the blind spots of our algorithms. This is a tactic used by state-sponsored actors, but it is also used by anarchists. The ambiguity is the shield. If you accuse them of being terrorists, they point to their advocacy for privacy. If you accuse them of being government agents, they point to their anti-surveillance rhetoric. They are Schrödinger's organization, both and neither, until observed. As we move deeper into the age of artificial intelligence, the legend of 3301 becomes more relevant, not less. Today, AI can solve most cryptographic puzzles in seconds. It can scan millions of images for hidden data instantly. So why hasn't AI solved 3301? Because the latter cycles of the puzzle required human context. They required cultural literacy. They required intuition. An AI can crack a code, but it cannot understand the nuance of a poem by William Blake hidden in a hex string. It cannot feel the urgency of a poster on a rainy street in Berlin. 3301 was a test of humanity, not just computation. And in a world increasingly run by machines, that human element is the rarest resource of all. So, where are they now? Are they watching us? Are they building the tools that will either save us from total surveillance or plunge us into chaos? Or are they gone, having completed their mission, leaving behind only a legend? The truth is, it doesn't matter. The myth is more powerful than the reality. 3301 has inspired a generation of coders, thinkers, and rebels. It has shown us that the internet is not just a tool for consumption, but a landscape for exploration. It has reminded us that mystery still exists in an age of information overload. But there is one final clue that many overlook. In the final message of the second cycle, there was a timestamp, a date in the future, a date that has since passed. Nothing happened on that date. Or did it? Some claim that on that day, several major data breaches occurred simultaneously. Others claim that a new, untraceable communication protocol was released on the dark web. Coincidence? Perhaps. But in the world of 3301, there are no coincidences, only patterns. And if you look closely enough, you might see that the pattern is still forming. The cicada is not dead. It is merely waiting for the next season. And when it emerges, will you be ready to listen? Or will you remain in the dark, scrolling past, unaware that the test is still running? You now know the mechanics of the Cicada 331 mystery. You understand how it used cryptography, philosophy, and physical presence to filter for the elite. You see how it challenged the very notion of privacy in the digital age. But knowing how it worked is not the same as knowing why it matters. The true transformation here isn't in solving the puzzle, it's in realizing that you are being tested every day. Every click, Every share, every password is a small puzzle in the larger game of digital sovereignty. Lumen Mysteries exists to give you the keys to unlock these truths. If this deep dive illuminated the shadows for you, subscribe to Lumen Mysteries.
Don't let the algorithm decide what you see. Take control. Because the next mystery isn't just on the screen, it's in your pocket.
And if you think Cicada 3301 was complex, wait until you hear about the man who claimed to step out of a taxi in Japan and vanish from existence, leaving behind a passport from a country that doesn't exist. That story breaks reality itself, and I break it down in The Man from Torrid, a glitch in reality.